All right, what is good, fellas? We're finally back in Miami, which means we're back to our normal schedule, live trading, daily buys, trade recap, market recaps, all that. Going to be back on time now. If you guys want to join the free Discord, it is in the description. However, yeah, market recap for today, 10:14. There was 2 trade setups that I did like. I actually liked both of them. One of them was a 15-minute inversion, and I don't take 15-minute inversions, but this one looked really, really clean. We had a clear draw on liquidity ahead. And there was also a 2-minute inversion. The 2-minute inversion, I was about to enter, and then my boarding group number got called, so I was boarding my plane, bro. No bullshit. No bullshit. I had this shit marked out on my laptop, and we're like one of the last ones to board. So we go on board, and then I get on the plane, and I'm about to, I'm doing like more analysis or whatever, you know, like pre-boarding when they're getting everything together. And then, bro, they tell me to put my laptop away because we're about to take off. Bro, I get in the air and I buy the Wi-Fi. The perfect 15-minute inversion happens with a clear draw on liquidity. I was like, bro, no fucking way. So I didn't end up trading today. I don't really ever take 15-minute inversions. However, this one was really, really clean due to the draw on liquidity. We'll go over both these setups I'm talking about. But yeah, no trades for me today. I was honestly pretty annoyed because the past week has looked pretty shit. But today, didn't look that bad at all, honestly. So it is what it is. But yeah, I'll be back live trading tomorrow on D15. However, coming into this morning, this is what I had marked out. All right. Let's just start on the 4-hour chart. Clearly, a bearish bias. At this point in time, we still haven't filled this new week opening gap yet. We were rejecting this 4-hour gap. We're also rejecting these hourly gaps as well. And then, as you can see right here, just clear bearish structure overall. So what I wanted to see was some form of manipulation at market open. So we could have either got a manipulation higher into this 4-hour gap, which was also London highs, which was also an entry point to an unfilled hourly as well. And then there was another unfilled hourly above that. So if I was bearish on the day and we got a manipulation higher, the highest point I would want to see price go is this unfilled fair value gap right here that's at or near equilibrium. And then we can look for a rejection out of it to come down and fill this new week opening gap. However, if we manipulate lower at first, I would then be looking for longs towards what? Well, towards this low resistance liquidity right here and this unfilled 4-hour gap, which is also London highs, which is also a unfilled hourly. And then there was also another unfilled hourly above it. So we had good target both ways. Okay. So at market open, I didn't really care which way price went. However, I was leaning more bearish at this time, so I did want price to continue farther down so I can then target these lows that were inside of this new week opening gap. Pretty self-explanatory. Market open, we ended up shitting the bed all the way to the downside. We inversed this 5-minute gap right here. I would have took this inversion towards this sell side liquidity right here and also this unfilled 5-minute gap right here as well. However, we just didn't end up getting a pullback. What I wanted to see was maybe we leave these lows, pull back into like a 5-minute gap right here, and then we can continue lower, either target this sell side, this unfilled gap, or this sell side all the way down here. However, we didn't end up getting it. Nothing looks super A plus. Like I said, I'm being very, very patient in these markets. These markets have been fucking ridiculous lately. So what do we end up doing? We end up continuing farther down. What do we leave? We leave a unfilled 5-minute right here, and we leave a unfilled, oh shit, another unfilled 5-minute right here as well. So at this point in time, I did not want to enter off this leg down because that would have just been the most random inversion ever. What I wanted to see was a resweep of the leg, and then maybe we can inverse something right there, targeting these unfilled gaps, so on and so forth. Okay, so what do we end up getting? We ended up coming down and filling this new week opening gap almost completely. And then we seen a V-shaped recovery out of it, inversing this 2-minute gap. And this was the 2-minute fair value gap I was talking about when I was fucking boarding the airplane. But I'm actually pretty irritated about it. Stops would have been either at the bottom of this wick for 31-point stop loss, or you could even put it at the body of this candle and just de-risk. This was a 51-point stop loss. It is kind of a lot, but I mean, if you de-risk, it is what it is. And then your take profit target would have been the second unfilled 5-minute while you're going break even at the first 5-minute, or if you don't want to go break even at the first unfilled 5-minute gap, you can go break even at these 5-minute internal highs right here. One or the other doesn't really matter. They both look super clean. What ends up happening? Price runs straight to the TP. I sit down on my laptop in seat 21E and I fucking look at my take profit get hit as I did not enter the trade. So that ended up happening. I was still on the market at this point in time. That was a beautiful trade. And then what do we have above as targets? Well, we have these sides right here. We have these sides right here. What else do we have? We have these sides right here. Okay. And we have these sides right here. And then what else is there? Well, there's a fucking London high, which is also an unfilled 4-hour gap. There's an unfilled hourly, and then there's another unfilled hourly up here as well. So what do we end up getting? Well, we got a clean rejection off of this new week opening gap. What else do we get? We got a 15-minute inversion. Okay, I don't take 15-minute inversions, but this one looks super nice. Let's take a look at the 5-minute, because typically in these situations, when we do inverse a 15-minute gap, I want to see a pullback into a 5-minute, and then we can continue higher. So honestly, I know in hindsight it looks like, okay, it's super easy to say that I would take it, but realistically, if I was in the live markets, I would want to say pull back into the 5-minute. Now, if you had discretion, that price was going to go higher and continue higher with the 15-minute inversion, you entered off that like a retap of the IFEG, then that is perfectly fine as well. However, that's just not the way I trade. But again, if you did have discretion, that was super clean. So what ends up happening, we get a inversion of this 15-minute gap, limit order at the IFEG right here. Your take profits can be either these highs right here or these highs all the way over here. If I was to take this trade, I would just target these highs, just take my piece of the pie and get the fuck out the market. No need for me to hold all the way up until that unfilled hourly, which is 140 points away. If I'm risking one mini or 2 minis, depending on my conviction of the trade, 50 points is plenty, more than enough. I would put my stop loss right here, kind of a risky stop loss due to the fact that we have low resistance liquidity generating. We could have easily just, where is it? Could have easily just came down, retapped this general area, and then continued higher. However, this did end up playing out, and it looked pretty clean. I would give it about a B+ to A- setup, depending on your conviction on the trade. But like I said, I just don't like having LR on my stop loss. That is something you should watch out for. But overall, this was a clean trade as well. That 2-minute inversion was the best entry of the day. And then after this happened, I was no longer on the markets. I wasn't even on the markets when this happened. I looked around. We almost hit the gap. It was like right here when I logged back on. I literally watched this unfilled 4-hour gap get hit, and then I just logged off and played on my phone for the next 6 hours until I landed in Miami. But yeah, back to the normal schedule. Live trading, daily buys, market recap, trade recaps, normal YouTube videos. They're going to be coming back out. Like I said, I'm locked in for the next 2.5 months until I have to go back to California. So pleasure talking to you boys. I will see y'all tomorrow for live trading.